Okay folks, welcome back. This is your old pal Hondo doing another video for you on string trimmers. Yes, string trimmers. I know, how boring. But this is a video I'm going to do. I know this video has probably been done to death on YouTube and on various other forums. That what is better, the curved shaft or the straight shaft string trimmer? Now we have two examples here of string trimmers. We have the MTD Craftsman snap-on attachment string trimmer. Let's get this one out of the way first. With this one, if you don't have the money to buy a more expensive residential model like this Tanaka, you could buy one of these little cheap MTD string trimmers. They get the job done just for residential. You might get 3 or 4 years worth of use out of them. You can also get a straight shaft for this one too if you really want to. You can get a straight shaft for this one, so you don't have to spend more money, like $100, $200 on the residential Tanaka or Husqvarna steel, Shindawa, Echo type of straight shaft trimmers. You can also get hedge trimmer attachments for this, snow sweepers, garden tillers, blowers, chainsaw, extension poles, etc., etc., etc. The only models that work on this one are Trimmer Plus, Poulon, and Snapper attachments will work on the Craftsman MTD line of string trimmers. We got that out of the way. Now we're going to get into what is better, straight shaft or curved shaft. I hope this helps anybody out on their choice into buying a string trimmer for whatever scenario they want to use these for. They can be used commercially if you want to. Both of them can. They can keep up with you. The more expensive model has a better trigger system, trigger throttle system, stop and go. This one has a Kawasaki motor on it, and it has a Kawasaki type of throttle system in it, which is really excellent on full throttle and light throttle for around fences. This one's okay too. It's not too bad. For the average, you don't want to spend $200-300 on something. You can just get it for $80 bucks, then $90 depending on where you get it. It works just fine. But we're going to go into the scenarios for different scenarios that the curved shaft's good for and the straight shaft's good for. And hope this helps you out on your purchase into a string trimmer for your yard. Now we're going to get into the curved shaft. The curved shaft's great for flat, level, steady yards. I find when you're pointing the trimmer head down, it gives you a nice little angle like this away from a chain link fence or a wooden fence. That gives you perfect cuts without sucking the head into the fence and banging the head up against the fence and getting it caught up. The straight shaft, you have to back it away a couple feet away from the fence to keep the head from sucking up. I mean, it works good around flat level yards as well, but you have to pull it back a little bit further away from a fence to keep it from sucking the head up into obstructions. This one, I have no problem with that, but the only problem I have with a curved shaft is getting underneath patio furniture out in the yard or underneath overgrown plants, hillsides and slopes. You have to stand at the bottom. And then when you're trying to use this to cut a hillside, it hurts your back a lot more. Where, creek beds, hillsides, and slopes and obstructions, the straight shaft, you don't have to worry about that. It's just easy. You just hold the machine down and just go back and forth. This one has a 17-inch cutting path, so does this one. But I find that this one is harder to get in confined spaces and obstructions. It'll do it, but, it puts a lot more strain on your back trying to do it. But it's good for around open country, open ground type of cutting around fences, around flower beds, and all that's fine. As long as there ain't no overgrowth over them and confined spaces. This one's great for confined spaces, around flower beds, etc., etc., etc. That long telescoping head's good to get into those confined spaces. These little cheaper models don't have the tap and go. If you're going to get one, a lot of MTD Bolin's type of models do have the tap and go. This has the one-piece thread system. It works. I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, the straight shaft's great for hillsides, creek beds, and cutting grass on slopes. This one's not so much good for that. Like I said, they both have their ups and downs. They're both fine machines. They do make curve shafts in more expensive models, you know, so you just look into what you want in a curve shaft. But this is the example that I have. Now next would be, now you can edge with both of these, and they will both edge really well. This one could actually hold like 0.5 line. You may want to, you know, up the line on the curve shaft if you want to do edging with it. I find though that the straight shaft will edge a lot better when you hold the machine upside down for edging, and then doesn't put as much stress on your back trying to edge with it. Where the curve shaft is kind of hard to grip and hold it while you got it upside down to do a little bit of edging work around the base of the yard and stuff. So the straight shaft is better for that over the curve shaft. Like I said, they both have their ups and downs. But if you don't have a slopey hillside type of yard and a lot of creek beds and stuff like that, this would be the better model for you. Yeah, you can get away with it. You know, it'll do the job fine. I think this one's a lot better around fencing than this one is. This one's good for slopes, hillsides, creek beds, and very confined spaces. But, you know, like I said, they're both fine for that, for their different scenarios. But I find that the straight shaft is far more superior than the curve shaft on hillsides and multitasking situations over the curve shaft. Curve shaft is good if you got a good open small little lot yard with no obstructions, no slopes, and no creek beds. This one, I would recommend this one any type of time of the day if you got a small flat yard with no obstructions. If you got a hilly yard and obstructions and all that kind of thing going on, you can in confined spaces to weed whack, I would recommend you to get the straight shaft. Both models are good for what their intended purposes are. And I'll leave it up to y'all to pick which type of model you want to use for what scenario that you have in your yard for trimming. Just based over my overall opinion on that. Now, if you got a lot of confined spaces and you got one of these little weed guards and you can't quite fit it in there, you could always take the weed guards on both of them off to get into confined spaces around plants that are overgrown to trim the weeds around it. So, but it's not recommended to take the weed guards off of them, but you can. If I was to recommend y'all for just a residential small flat yard, I would recommend the curve shaft with no slopes and hillsides. This one any time of the day. If you've got a lot of obstructions, slopes, creek beds, and a lot of obstructions to do, I would recommend the straight shaft any time of the day. And there's a lot of models out there. It's just what you want to, what you want that works for you that you should look into maybe buying for your weed trimmer. Well, I hope this helps anybody out on which one's better. I like them both. I don't think one's better over the other, but if I had my choice, I would always go with a straight shaft. Always, for any situation. The straight shaft is a multitasking type of shaft over the curve shaft where it has its limitations. But if you have a snap-on type of attachment weed whacker, you could also make yourself a straight shaft. So it doesn't really matter. You can buy the cheap one and get a straight shaft as well. So it kind of blows that out of the way. But I would always recommend a straight shaft every day over a curve shaft. It's easier on your back on slopes, confined spaces. It's good for weed whacking creek beds. You could actually cut a wider swath with the straight shaft than you can the curve shaft. You're only limited to a small swath with the curve shaft. It could cut down really thick weeds as well and try to cut down a field of weeds if you wanted to. It's fine. but I find that this one here cuts a wider swath over the curve shaft and is a lot less detrimental on your back than the curve shaft. Well, folks, I hope you all like this video on straight shaft versus curve shaft. If you like this video, please hit the like, share, and subscribe for further lawn maintenance videos, power equipment videos for the future. I do this non-profit. Everything I get is out of my own pocket, etc., etc. Hope you all like this video. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe. And I hope this video helps you all out on a future weed trimmer purchase. Y'all know what you can do. It's been your old pal Hondo from Hillbilly Technical. You put God first. He puts you first every time. You know what else, YouTube? God loves you. So does Hondo. Peace.
Tell me pretty lies. Look me in the face. Tell me that you love me, even if